All right, so in honor of you, good evening and welcome to the September 10th, 2024 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. All right. Ms. Marsh, please call the roll.
Mr. Tracy?
Present.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mayor Hurd?
I am here. All righty. No presentations are scheduled for this evening. At this time, are there reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? Yeah. Next on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. We welcome comments, suggestions, and questions during the public comment period. However, the purpose of this is to allow public comment, not to engage in a dialogue. If you have a specific question, please feel free to pose it, and then we will follow up with staff via telephone or email. As a reminder, comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized, come to the microphone, and provide your name for the record. Nobody?
There's two.
Okay. There being no additional or any public comments, we'll continue. All right, manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. My report goes to item I today, so I'll make up the progress we've made expeditiously thus far. As a follow-up from a discussion item or a question at the last meeting, there was an inquiry about the sidewalks around the sports courts in Greenview Park. I confirmed that the sidewalk does go around the 3 sides that are not the parking lot, and there's a diagram in the council's packet showing that with arrows pointing to the identified design layout that was previously approved. Next item, parking concerns. In the title of the memo, we eliminated West Franklin. We just have West Parkway. The council previously discussed West Franklin and resolved that, and West Parkway was asked to be carried for a discussion item, including a map. So that is in your packet and scheduled for later discussion among the members of council. Next item, the need direction from the governing body on this. The Fire Company 2 in the 80s purchased Rescue 2, which was recently taken out of service and sold through Gov Deals, as is the township's custom when disposing of municipal assets.
Wait a minute, but you said that in 1982, Company 2?
Well, the township. No, I'm sorry, the township. You're correct. I appreciate the correction. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 1988, Rescue 2 was purchased by the township of Pequannock. Company 2, as it was recently sold, has asserted that they participated in 18% of the funding of the vehicle. Therefore, they've requested 18% of the $31,000 or the proceeds from the sale of the vehicle. Included in the council's packet is an email from the chief of Fire Company 2 and the supporting documentation from the late 80s. I think it's important to note that within the documentation, it states that the contribution was towards supplemental costs and equipment. Having not been there, I can't say exactly what that means. In my experience, supplemental is extra, and if someone asks for extra, it would be not unheard of to say, if you want extra, we appreciate it if you pay for extra. Additionally, the township just purchased a $1.899 million tower for use by Company 2, and that was purchased by saving up funds using the Reserve for Fire Apparatus. So I appreciate Chief 2's request. I have spoken with Chief 2. I let him know that my recommendation was going to be that the full proceeds of the sale, or $31,000, be deposited and appropriated back into the reserve for fire apparatus in 2025. So I just need direction from council whether we want to grant the request of Company 2 or if we want to deposit it as I recommend.
I think I would go with your recommendation.
I would too. I would posit it in the account, which benefits fire as a whole, all the apparatus.
Fire apparatus, yes. I got 2.
Don't matter to me.
2 1/4. What do you think, Melissa?
Were they under the impression that it was not, that they were going to get it back and it was not going to go back into, for fire apparatus?
They made a request that it go back to them. I said that I didn't support that. My recommendation was it be deposited as I've described.
Have we ever just given it back to them like that?
Not in my tenure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember ever giving back money. I mean, what happens next? When we sell the animal
Right.
control vehicle, the money goes back to them, and then we just bought them $2 million.
Yeah, that's why I was just trying to understand the process.
Yeah, there's a
before.
chief's truck as well as a pickup truck. So all of this is funded through the raising of tax dollars in that reserve.
And it's
I
not-
could see a little bit of an argument if we were putting this in the municipal manager's Maserati fund.
Right. This is going right back
But it's
into
going
the
back
fire
into
fund.
what it was used to purchase
Going back
$2 million
into-
truck. So, but
Right.
that's...
So it's not, it would not go back into the general fund. It would literally go back into fire apparatus fund.
That would be my plan. Obviously, it would be subject to the direction and approval.
Was that also
Budget.
discussed with them, that would,
I told the chief that's what I was going to recommend.
no, I
that
just
works for
wondered,
me.
like,
That works. We got 3.
That works
Okay.
for me.
I mean, you have the 3, I'm just,
Very good.
I know
I'll
it's always
proceed
bullish.
accordingly. Next item, cannabis ordinance. Council has for consideration as directed a ordinance amending the cannabis ordinance. Previously, there had been significant discussion about changes in zoning and licenses. This does none of that. It merely provides for an increase in the corresponding fees for a new license and a renewal, $15,000 and $10,000 as opposed to $500. And it allows the chief financial officer the ability at the cultivator's expense to retain an outside firm to review the financials being submitted. As we have also scheduled for the council's consideration in later this meeting, a resolution issuing a license. This would be helpful to the staff and I believe beneficial to the township if it were to go forward. We have an ordinance appropriating $30,000 for the acquisition of the ambulance. Funny thing happened when we were calculating the 285 that was directed by council during the budget process. The finance officer kept saying 255, and I kept saying 285. If the council remembers, in 2020, there was a portion of the capital budget that was included in the budget, but it wasn't ever appropriated via ordinance due to reserving funds in case there were issues with COVID. So this was money that was part of the capital plan for the acquisition of the ambulance. It is what I interpreted as being available for the ambulance. We just need to do an ordinance to appropriate.
So is 30,000 going back into their reserve, being that we...
This is, the 30,000 isn't, the total amount isn't changing, it's just, this is required to spend it.
It's just paperwork.
So,
It's a mechanism of financial management required in public finance. So we were.
it's not like we had this squirreled away then?
No, this was part of the budget in 2020 for the reserve for fire apparatus, or excuse me, for ambulance, the acquisition of the ambulance. And it just had never been appropriated via ordinance because we held some things back.
Okay.
So just an explanation as what that is, and we ultimately resolved that in short order. Next is the council has for its consideration the award of the 2024 capital program, Heritage Court reconstruction, Greenview Park sidewalks, aprons, Poplar Avenue and Rockledge sidewalk replacements. This is the bid that was put out that will be a component of the Greenview project as well as the sidewalks that were directed to be accomplished in 2024 by the council.
So, quick question, if you don't mind. So the Greenview Park sidewalks, that's just the curbing that's going around, there's no additional sidewalk
It's a full sidewalk.
in front of the tennis court?
All the way around, no, not in front where there's asphalt, but around the other 3 sides.
Oh, so it's not only curbing, it's an actual sidewalk?
It's an actual sidewalk, because there will be access and egress points in the back.
Right.
So you'll be able to walk all the way around. It will also serve as curbing for the asphalt to be,
And Heritage is milling and paving,
Correct.
nothing more than that? Okay.
and then, minor little, nothing of consequence.
Okay.
5 bids were received. Low bid is within budget and engineer's estimate, and determined to be responsible and responsive by both the township attorney, engineer, and me. It's always good when that comes in a good time frame and we can get it turned around quickly. The health department has made a request to purchase spatial data logic software through the Dell state contract. This is going to be used by them for the management of licenses. If the council's not aware, spatial data logic is very common for use in management of construction and zoning. We currently use it at the annex. This acquisition, or this purchase for the next 5 years is fully funded by the Najaco grant that was previously acquired by the health department.
That's beautiful.
So zero tax dollars, enhances our operations, and everybody wins.
Let's keep doing that.
Ryan, they're the ones that have that party relay.
Mr. Jack Flood is the proprietor. Next on my report, item H, Martin Berry House Phase 3 construction. We have change order number 1. We're going to be closing out this project and seeking reimbursement from the county. This is a change order for a deduction of $7,500 from the contract based upon a contractual allotment for additional work to be done, exterior carpentry work, and
I like change
finish
orders
work
that go down.
finish work and regular carpentry work. So this, it wasn't necessary, and we're change orders down, and like I said, we're going to close out now and look at
That's
reimbursement. Juxtaposed to the change order down, we now have change order number 6 for Route 23 sewer project. This is a change order in the amount of $23,957.48 due to conditions in the field that were unanticipated or took longer than planned, actions with water mains that the council had some discussions with in the past.
But we're still in the blank.
We are still $16,000 and change under the original contract amount. All the pipe has been installed. We are doing, restoration work is being done now. Paving's going to be completed in October, and then we'll be closing everything out. The substantial completion notice is going to be forthcoming soon from the engineer, which will then result in the letter that goes out announcing everyone having to hook in within the required time frame.
Probably one more change order, because I looked through these change orders and it has nothing to do with town hall.
Correct. Maybe.
Maybe.
There may be one final change order and final payment, and it may go over the original amount, but so far we're really close, and I'm just happy that we picked up the speed and we're able to get this done expeditiously. So unless there's any additional questions, I appreciate the direction, and that is my report.
Are there any questions from council?
None, thank you.
John? Thank you.
Well, do we talk about the questions now, or will we go through the ordinance?
Either or.
Right,
You can ask him now. Wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Melissa? Dave?
I'm good.
All right.
I asked during.
Next on the agenda, public hearing on ordinance number 2024-15. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2024-15 is a bond ordinance providing for the elevation of flood-prone homes in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $1,981,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,981,000 bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof.
Are there any comments from council? Which yearing group is this one?
Yeah, so just for the benefit of the council and anyone watching the meeting, this is the 2020 grant funding round through FEMA that includes 8 residential properties that are scheduled for elevation.
Excellent. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That's interesting.
Wait, did I miss something? Now you call for a vote.
Yeah. Is there a motion on the ordinance?
I'll make that motion to approve ordinance 2024-15.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes. Next on the agenda,
This doesn't bode well.
I got a lot of yellow here. Yeah. All right. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinances. Mrs. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2024-16 is an ordinance providing for capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $30,000 for financing thereof.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, any comments?
Nothing further unless there are questions.
Are there any comments from council?
Nope.
Nope.
Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2024-16.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinance number 2024-17. Mrs. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2024-17 is an ordinance amending Chapter 119 Cannabis Establishment License and 120 Cannabis Transfer Tax of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Pequannock.
Mr. Brewer, any comments?
Again, as directed, this was prepared to amend the identified items without making any other changes with respect to zoning or the applicable licenses.
Okay. Are there any comments from council?
So this ordinance, 2024-17, is for the increase in the licensing and the our auditor to be paid by Hillview
A
Med.
firm to be retained by the CFO, likely our auditor.
So she doesn't have to do it.
Correct. Without the experience or knowledge.
Anyone else?
That's the only reason for this?
Because right now we don't have any oversight.
To put it in print.
Right, this was
Better oversight this gives.
better oversight, and this was per the recommendation of the special counsel
It
that
was.
we had, but it's not adding anything to,
That element of what he recommended, we took out of this.
yeah. Because otherwise I would have definitely said no, because
Yes.
want no
Yes,
part of
there
it.
is no expansion or change of the existing license.
But if it's to get us more compliant, then
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
And more oversight.
That's it.
Okay. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2024-17.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. Next on the agenda is resolutions. Mrs. Marsh.
It comes.
Beginning with Resolution R 2024-172, authorizing the purchase of spatial data logic data processing inspection and licensing software for the Health Department through Dell and New Jersey State Contract Number 20 Tele 01510 for a 5-year period in the total amount of $81,276.60. 2024-173, approving change order number 1 for the Martin Berry House Phase 3 construction, decreasing the contract with Provco Inc. of Rahway, New Jersey by $7,500 to a revised contract price of $343,722. 2024-174, awarding a contract for the 2024 capital program, Heritage Court Reconstruction, Greenview Park Sidewalks and Aprons, Poplar Avenue and Rockledge Terrace sidewalk replacements to Cefelli and Son General Contractor for the total contract amount of $249,065 in accordance with the bid specifications. 175, authorizing the execution of a shared services agreement between the Township of Pequannock and the Borough of Lincoln Park for 911 dispatch services from November 1st, 2024 through October 31st, 2028. 176, approving change order number 6 for the Route 23 sewer project, increasing the contract with P&A Contractors of Colonia, New Jersey by $23,957.48 to a revised contract price of $5,682,700.93. 177, authorizing the issuance of an annual cannabis cultivator license to Hillview Med Incorporated. 178, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. 179, approving the minutes of designated 2011 and 2012 Township Council meetings. 180, stop. 180, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 181, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the September 5th, 2024, and August 28th, 2024 bill list, and the September 5th, 2024 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Ms. Marsh, that was excellent. Thank you very much. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
Did the numbers get switched or are my eyes nuts?
175 and 176 are switched on the
Okay.
agenda versus the
Oh,
resolution.
all right, you already mentioned that, I missed
I
that.
think it, yeah, no, I did, but it's typographical.
I get what-
Unless Mr. Oster thinks it's an issue, I think we
It
can.
is not an issue.
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
First of all, Carol, 179, thank you for going through all those 2 years and getting all the minutes done. I know it was a
Well,
tedious
there's still a
time.
little cleanup to do, but the bulk of it's
No,
done.
you did a great job.
Thank you.
My question about the spatial data logic processing software for the health department. Do we need that because we took on so many other towns? Like, did we overdo it with the amount of towns we kept taking on?
We're currently using a program that was designed and put out in the 90s. So this is a replacement of an existing program that is antiquated and inefficient. So it has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with the addition of towns.
It doesn't, no. It's
No.
not because of overuse, it's just upgrading what we have.
No, we're getting rid of Yugo and getting Fairlane.
And it's free.
Fairline, can
It's
we get something better?
$81,000.
It's paid for by
For
the...
5 years.
Okay, $81,000.
And again, it's 5 years. It's not $81,000 a year. It's
I know.
$81,000 divided by.
It's still.
Any other questions?
I got a question on 177. So I see in the packet, it's Class 1 local annual cannabis. Class 1, Bob, is...
It's cultivation.
Cultivation.
They are. We don't give them a manufacturing license.
So it's cultivation, and they could be cultivating this for medical and recreational?
Correct.
Because they have both licenses now, am I
They
correct?
do have both licenses. Yeah.
That's from the state.
Yeah.
Are we checking up that they're going to be doing everything that they said they were going to be doing when they were here?
It's a very broad question.
Well, I know they were going to do like fencing. There's so many things that I remember him saying that I see nothing
It's
happen.
supposed to be a brand-new building, but
Right.
nothing, there's no...
When the new building is completed, the answer is that will be checked up on because they won't
But
be able to get...
they're doing it now without the new
They are.
building.
So they haven't
So like,
done
how
anything
did that
towards the new
happen?
building.
so they're
So
allowed...
if they don't build a new building, they don't have to do all the things they promised us they would do?
They have to do some of the things they promised us they would do because those are required under our licensing ordinance.
Gotcha.
But in terms of construction standards, things like, and they do have to have security.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see any
I don't think-
security.
I don't
I don't
know.
see any fencing.
Yeah, we'll have to look and see what they've done and what they have to
I think
do.
we should.
One of the benefits of
take
the
a gander
issuance,
over there.
one of the benefits of the issuance of the license is based on having a local license, there are certain actions that are now permitted that weren't before. For example, there were complaints about not having certain inspections. Having a local license provides for the ability to inspect.
And this license we were scheduled to renew it January 1, but we postponed it because of things that...
A variety of
ongoing.
reasons.
So they've been operating without a license?
Only on the medical side, which they were, so they say, which they were allowed to do.
You had
I
the
didn't
state
know the rules.
license,
Okay.
you had the local license.
It's recommended this be approved as it enhances our ability
I have no
to
problem with it. I'm good.
Any other
We
questions?
did that already, didn't we?
Yeah.
We voted it introduction. Yes.
Yeah, question, so 172, do we have the money, or did we budget that in last year, or is that additional that we're spending?
That's grant money that's
Okay.
budgeted. It was the grant
Right.
money was received, there was a chapter 159 adding it to the budget to be spent, both the item of revenue and
Okay.
appropriation.
Right, and then 179, I still don't get that, but I'm not going to vote for it anyway, because I was not here in 2011, 2012, so that matters.
Cleaning up paper.
None of us were.
No, I just,
This-
I'm not
this-
here to
Melissa
vote on
was.
it.
Melissa was.
This grant for the health department...
She remembers every meeting.
Every meeting. I don't remember last week. I don't remember
I don't know
yesterday.
why, but I'm
A variety of things.
not interested.
All right, so get back on track. Any other questions from council?
All right, Bob, so listen, so is there anything that's going to make us, Melissa was the only one here in 2011, 2012. We all have to vote on it.
I think that's the appropriate thing to do because
How? I wasn't here.
Well, hold
all you're
us
doing is,
accountable.
you're not voting that that the minutes are accurate and fine. You're voting to approve the minutes that the clerk tells you are accurate and fine.
You might note that at the bottom of the minutes that I sent out, it's only me signing it.
Yeah.
No, it's not like anybody else.
So to the best of our ability, that's what happened.
That's why this process isn't supposed to work this way.
Yeah.
Right. And you were able to put them together based on audio?
When I could base it on the audio, I did, and when I couldn't, I specified it. I said, this is taken from notes, or I said, nothing's available, or whatever really happened.
Are you looking for a motion?
Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions 2024-172 through 2024
181.
181.
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Treese?
Well, if I want to say no to 177 and
You can.
179, I'm
Yeah, you
still
can.
not crazy on.
What are you voting?
All but those two?
Are you abstaining or voting no?
Voting, well, I'm going to vote no on 177, and I'll abstain from 179 because I wasn't here.
Okay.
I don't know.
Everything else is yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes. Next on the agenda, items for discussion, parking concerns, West Parkway.
Yes, thank you. Circling back to the discussion from the last council meeting, there was a request made by Atlantic Health in an area proximate to the driveways on West Parkway across from the high school that there be parking restricted. When it was previously identified for discussion, there was a draft ordinance for the council's consideration, but the request was to have a map indicating where that area would be. Again, this is in an effort to respond to a request from a representative for Atlantic Health. Absent that request, the staff would not seek to make this recommendation. So it's really up to the council whether this is something that they would want to grant as Atlantic Health requested it or not. Also, as discussed at the last council meeting, there is no significant crash data in the vicinity of the identified area. Crash data for 5 years is in the surrounding intersections, but having nothing to do with access or egress to any Atlantic Health property.
So where exactly are they asking for parking restrictions?
Yellow.
We already have.
But nobody parks there anyway. You can't park there.
No, the problem is the football games. I guarantee you that's what it is. So this is the driveway, the first driveway coming past the tennis courts.
Yep.
If you can continue down, that's the main driveway of Chilton. But they're not asking for that. They're asking for this right here. I think that building is their security office building. It's the house.
Well, they own two houses there, right?
Yeah. So from what I've heard through the grapevine is pulling out when there's cars on right up to the curb, they can't see pulling out.
But isn't there a law how far you can park from the curb anyway?
I don't think there's any yellow curbing there at all.
I don't believe there's a... The law may be in effect, but there may not be any curbing.
So it's really for very specific, when there's games and stuff.
When there's games.
And,
I saw it online.
Why don't we just put cones up while their games are put?
Or can't you
I
put
still want to
yellow
limit
or
the
pink?
parking. We have so many people that go to these games, and then there's the soccer, and there's everything else, and then they're going to be parking on the side streets, and then we're going to get the people in the side streets saying, people parking on the streets.
How many
I will say this, there's a ton of people that park in that parking lot during the football games.
Oh, really?
Because it's not always filled on Friday nights. So they pull in, they walk in, they walk across the street.
Why did they
How
want
many
no
parking spots would this
I
actually
wasn't
be?
here last week.
Any clue?
What would it affect? Do we know?
Like four cars? I mean, it doesn't look like a lot.
I believe the engineer estimated it to be 8 or 9 cars.
Right.
8 or 9.
Don't they come out? Don't the emergency vehicles come out the
So
other?
where are they going to
Yeah,
park
but I guess
now?
from this house.
It's a house.
To me, it's kind of silly, and anybody could ask it. Anybody could say, I have trouble pulling out of my driveway, let's limit the amount of parking people can do.
If the council has questions and concerns, we're coming into September, we can monitor the situation. I can ask the police department to
Let's do
take a
that.
look
That's a
into
great
targeted
idea.
enforcement.
Let's do that.
Should there be issues with
Yeah.
the proximity of the parking to the driveways to make sure there's safe site distance.
Because now we're going into football season, we can watch it this year, see how it is,
Yeah,
and
let's do that.
readjust.
And if it continues to be a major issue and the police department believes it's something that it would recommend, I can come back to the council with all the documentation that we've already reviewed.
We can all go out there.
So the
and
police haven't looked at it yet?
They have.
Oh, they have.
They have.
We need more parking, not less.
And they really didn't recommend it because they haven't seen it.
It hasn't been identified by municipal officials as a
All
challenge.
right, then let's monitor it.
Okay.
Punt.
That's a wonderful question.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I add something? If it makes people feel better, although there were not approved minutes, the vast majority of resolutions and ordinances are there and signed. Okay, so
The ordinance supports what happened during those meetings.
Right.
Got it. Thank you very much.
The action.
All right, next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. We're going to start with Councilman DeRisi. You're up.
Oh, goody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One, I would just apologize for missing last meeting. I was supposed to be here, but I couldn't get a flight back when I was supposed to, so I didn't get back till the day after. So, hope everybody had a nice summer. We're in fall. I love the weather. They flipped the switch for September 1st, and we got 50s in the morning. Committee meetings, we had a Parks and Rec Committee meeting. Not too much going on, just a little bit of recap what happened at PV Park, which was, I believe, overall a good year. And then just conversation about the pickleball courts and when they're going to be open, hopefully sometime by the end of the year, right, Mr.?
It'll depend when the paving is ultimately done and the surface is applied. If not, this fall, first thing next spring.
Weather permitting.
Well, let's go. Chop, chop.
That's the
Get your shorts
award this evening expedites the conclusion. So.
All right, good. Shade Tree Commission had their meeting. I think we're finally underway with buying and planting those trees we've been talking about for a while, which thankfully, that's good. That's
Why
good.
did it take so long?
Lack of trees?
We can't find trees. No, I don't
I
know.
think that's what it was.
There were a number of factors. Ultimately, the trees are going to be received on September 30th and planted this fall. So 100% of the 89 trees will be planted within the time frame to get the money.
Okay, so has anybody reached out to all those people that kept asking us?
There's
Okay, maybe
really-
3. Those 3 people that kept asking us.
6 trees are going on your lawn now.
And one of them wasn't a participant in the program. So
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
there's been communication from what I've seen and heard.
Got it. Cool. The curbing and paving project down by Washington Park, Holy Spirit Church looks good. Nice. It cleans that up and puts curbs in. It makes it look nice over there. I would like to say congratulations to Brody. Welcome to the fire department. Look forward to having you serve, and thank you for applying. It was very nice. Best wishes to Lori. I think she's moving on from us, so
Yeah.
best wishes to her and her future. And then condolences to Frank Spazier's family. I didn't know him a long time, but the short time I knew him, he was a good man.
He definitely, he did a lot
A lot of good for Pequannock.
He did a lot for the town.
He was a good man. And I just like to, I guess, just thank Carol and Adam and the whole gang here for getting us all our paperwork together, and it's always nice and organized, so thank you for that. And again, school's open. Thank you for the crossing guards out there. Be safe. Don't go around cars, please.
Yeah, no.
You know, traffic is hectic at the beginning and end of school. Take 2 minutes and just relax. Just relax. I was sitting at Sunset trying to make the right onto the turnpike. I was like 4 cars back, and this guy comes flying up in the other lane to make the left. I'm like,
Really?
it's just like, people slow down. Slow down. So, just be careful. Be nice to the crossing guards. Wave to them. They're doing good work with the kiddos out there. So, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Your reports.
Appreciate it. Councilwoman Florence Lynch, you're up.
Okay, economic development, they met, they finalized their survey. It might have even been mailed, I'm not sure yet, but I'll follow up on that. That was going to business owners. They're also going to be at the Hoedown, and their next meeting is September 25th. Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, they met. They are hosting a bus trip to Hunterton Playhouse, so you can sign up through Parks and Rec. What else? The Senior Olympics is September 18th. You can call Parks and Rec for more information on that. Dial Ride is celebrating their 45th anniversary at the Senior House on Monday, September 16th from 11 to 2. They're having a health and service fair, so anybody can go to that and celebrate, and there'll be some vendors there. Let's see, Flood Committee, they'll be starting up their meetings again in September. I just have to get a date from the chair, from Ken Hardacre. Congratulations also to junior firefighter Brody Genevieve, is that how you say his name, last name, for Pequannock Fire Department. And I also just wanted to mention how saddened I was to hear about Frank Spizzeri. He's really did so much for the town, so thoughts and prayers to his family. And then my last couple of announcements are just real quick. Some of us belong to Pequannock Valley Rotary. They do a lot of fundraising and a lot of good work. So there is a fundraising beefsteak on October 5th at the Lincoln Park American Legion, and the proceeds support the Pequannock Township Veterans Wall and other local veterans programs in all of Lincoln Park, Pequannock, and Riverdale. So if anybody wants tickets for that, you can reach out to myself or any Rotarian. Tickets are $65. There'll also be a tricky tray, door prizes 50-50, beer, wine, and soda included, cash bar for mixed drinks. I'm not going to be here for this, but September 11th, Unico is doing their...
That's tomorrow night?
Yeah. Unico is doing their salute out here, their ceremony. So
Are you going to be there?
I will be there.
If you guys can make that.
Are you going to be there?
That's always
I'll be
a
there.
very nice service, so.
Yeah, it's always nice. It's always a tearjerker.
Yeah, and then the last thing was, I might have mentioned this last time, but I told the Pequannock American Legion Post 450 that I would remind everybody that they're doing a fundraiser Sunday, September 22nd at Applebee's. It's, they're calling it Short Stacks for Tall Claws. So that's at Applebee's up in Butler. Tickets are $12. You can pay right there or get tickets in advance from the Legion. And that's it.
Quick question, Melissa. What was the date of the Dial Ride?
The anniversary for that is Monday, September 16th, and it runs from 11 to 2. So if you're around, you can just pop in.
December 16th?
No, did I say that? No, September.
September.
September 16th from what time to what time?
11 to 2, right at the senior house.
Got it. Thank you.
And that's it.
Okay, Councilman Cole.
All right, congrats to Brody. He's going to Company 2 as a junior firefighter. Both fire companies met in August. Company 1 just met this past Friday, September 6th. Company 1 is having a beefsteak Saturday, November 2nd, $50 per person at the Bloomingdale Fireman's Hall. Company 2 is having a cigar night on December 7th at Franklin Steakhouse. In Fairfield, $125 per person, includes 2 premium cigars, a buffet, beer and wine. Tickets are limited, so if you want tickets for that, you have to reach out to somebody from Company 2. Planning Board has not met. Congratulations to Lori and best wishes on her next venture. The PTHS Alumni Veterans Wall is 98% complete. It really is a great project that we accomplished. We wanted to get it done before school started, which we did. The only thing that's left is the plaques of the veterans going up. They've been sent to the printer, and the additional signage that we have. There will be a dedication ceremony on Sunday, November 17th, 12 o'clock at the high school, immediately followed by a luncheon at the castle. Tickets for the luncheon are $40 for veterans, $75 for all other guests. And like everyone said, rest in peace, Frank. He was a great man and a huge supporter of Pequannock Township. Thank you.
Thank you. The dedication of the wall is Sunday the 17th?
November 17th.
At what time?
12 o'clock at the high school, immediately following lunch at probably 1 to 3. From what I'm hearing, there's going to be a Huey helicopter landing. We're trying to get a bunch of different things. Maybe
That's
some
cool.
paratroopers, maybe. We don't know yet, so trying.
You contact Assemblyman Bergen's office?
I reached out to Brian yesterday, reached out to Mikey Sherrill's office yesterday, talked to Joe Panaccio today about it, and I talked to Christine Meyer last night about it for the county too, so everybody's going to be invited. Unfortunately, we can't waive the fee of the luncheon for anybody.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Russell.
Environmental, the styrofoam collection is on again for this January 2025, so when you're buying those Christmas presents and you open them up, make sure that you save the styrofoam. Mayor's River cleanup is set for 4/12. Rudy will not be taking charge of that this year. While he was in charge of it, he did it when he was on the environmental, so the environmental is going to go back to taking charge of that. Our treks, we have exceeded our goal of 1,000 pounds, and I think we're up to bench number 5, so good for taking that out of the environment. Awesome. Congratulations to Brody, and best of luck, Lori. You will be missed. She did a great job. Library, repairs were made to the parking lot. Thank you very much. Adam and DPW, they look great, much safer. We have a new director, and so far she's doing great. I know she met with Adam, and she's fitting in very nicely. She's definitely full of lots of energy and ready to get stuff done, which is nice to say. I have a question. We used to be able to go online and pay our taxes and the water bill, and if you paid by credit card, there was a fee, but if you paid directly from your checking account, there wasn't, and now there's a fee.
Yes.
Why is that?
Cover the cost of the software and the processing.
But you can still send in a check, right?
You can still, yes, if you pay in person, if you drop off a check, if you pay in cash, there's no fee.
But isn't it like cash when you just pull it from my checking account?
ACH?
Even the state of New Jersey doesn't charge you to get it pulled
If the
directly
council-
from...
If the council would like to change that, we certainly can during the 2025 budget.
Can we all talk about it, guys? Only because, to be honest with you, it was just so easy. And now, I know it's only like $1.25, but I'll be darned if I pay that $1.25.
I agree with that, if we can remember to talk about it.
Either way, you're paying
I'm in
that
agreement with that.
I know,
$1.25.
but I just, I mean, to get, then I'm gonna come here and drop it off, whereas I always paid on time now. The other day, I was late.
I just put in my bill pay. and
Let's
it's just-
remember to talk about it. I would agree.
I will make a note to have that as an item for discussion.
Yeah, I think it should be.
That's gonna be exciting.
I think it should be a discussion. I'd be curious to see how many people no longer use that, because I've talked to a lot of other people who felt the same way as me, who now don't use it, so I'm sure you're not getting things on time. Also, next meeting, I will be late, coming
what-
from Tarrytown.
All right, so what are we doing for next meeting? Are we
Yeah, so next,
having a meeting, not
next
having a
meeting, I will not be here for next meeting. Melissa?
I will not be here for next meeting
The
either.
two people won't be here. Don, will you be here at the next meeting?
Good.
So you and Dave, but,
Come on, Dave, we can hold down the fort. What do you think?
well, you need 3.
Now,
Oh, we need 3?
now, if you want, I can call in, as long as I don't have any problems.
I definitely can't call in.
Do you have reception from where you are?
I should, yeah, because I can go right up to the clubhouse where the Wi-Fi is. Because I did it last year. Not for this, but...
I mean, I'm gonna be in my car. I could call in. I won't be able to
Can we take 2 calls?
probably talk as much.
So we're good to go? 2 people call in?
As long as you can make it happen, I'll be glad to call in, unless you would rather cancel
Well,
it.
the only other thing we can do is cancel the meeting. Are there any things
Yeah,
that must get passed for the next meeting?
The key issue for tonight is to determine what the public hearing is going to be noticed for. So,
Public hearing for...
for the 2 ordinances that were introduced.
Oh.
So that needs to be included in the notice. There are items that are currently identified as needing to be addressed on the 24th, but there's nothing that is of such an essence that it would be a problem if it were carried to the second week of
As long
October.
as you're not messing up what we have, the work we have to get done, I mean, I...
We don't have to pay any bills by the end of the month?
If there are, we have a way to make that happen. If the council's concerned and there's not going to be enough people there and it limits the discussion opportunity anyway, my recommendation would be to not have the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Tarrytown and you're coming back at 6:30,
Yeah, I'm leaving. I mean, I can scoot out like 6:15, but I know my event is.
yeah, but it's all, from there all the way back here is...
I say we postpone it.
Whatever you want. Don't
I'm
matter.
fine with
Well, my
postponing
recommendation would be
it.
cancel.
I was just...
cancel.
yeah,
Cancel it.
Sorry.
All right, so we're going to cancel the meeting?
As long
Do we
as
need to
it's
have
not
3
messing up
people on
business,
that, or-
I'm fine with that.
We can make it work.
It's the consensus.
Okay, I'm good with canceling it.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Carol, you can come up and go through all the motions. I know you don't like,
You're gonna have nothing to do then?
Carol says, I forget something.
Gonna go out to dinner. All right. Ms. Russell, anything else?
No, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Okay. I will ditto everything you guys said. I really do appreciate that. We did not have an open space meeting. Frank unfortunately did pass. I had the pleasure of working with Frank for years. I have to say, he was a very interesting individual. He did so much for the town, and he will absolutely be missed, whether it was on open space or really working with us on flood mitigation. He was a very good man, and he will absolutely be missed. And it really is a shame. I think he left us way too early. Our first aid squad meeting, we had, so for last month, we had a total of 96 calls, 32 were from Cedar Crest. As usual, they are always looking for volunteers, so if anybody would like to be a volunteer at Pequannock's #1 first aid squad, best in the nation, please reach out to them. Don't forget that they also have their Oktoberfest coming in a couple of weeks, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's that time of year for the Boy Scouts. We've got Cub Scouts, which boys and girls in 1st to 5th grade. We have Boy Scouts, boys and girls, ages 11 to 17. We are looking for more people for our pack, so please join. Everything is online. It's a great year-round, vigorous outdoor program. You have peer groups, leadership, service to others. Boys develop character, citizenship, and personal fitness. It is a boy-led program for the Boy Scouts. Dedicated training for adults to ensure that the program is safe, and it's based out of the First Reformed Church. They do meet every Monday, 7 p.m. at Grace Chapel, First Reformed Church, 529 Newark Pompton Turnpike. We're always looking for more people to join. I believe you just said this, it's the Pequannock Township High School Alumni Veterans Wall. I guess I could have just looked at the paper I had on here. November 17th, 2024, at the high school, 12 p.m., 85 Sunset Road, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. I will say what Dave said, lunch reception at the Legacy Castle, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That kind of sounded weird. As you said, veterans are $40 a person, guests 75, children 3 to 10, $40 per person. Includes soda, water, coffee, tea, desserts. I'm getting hungry now. Cash bar is available. And last but not least, tomorrow is September 11th. We're having our ceremony right here in front of the municipal building. I think it's something that's still, it's very important. This is something that we really can't forget. It is a part of history. If we don't remember this and honor those that have fallen, especially with one of the largest events in America, we are going to repeat it. So it's up to us to make sure that we keep on remembering and articulating to our younger peers what happened, why it happened, and so on and so forth. So I really would like to see everybody in town here tomorrow at 6 p.m. For this remembrance of all those we lost and those who grieve.
I thought the setup was 6 and the ceremony starts at 6:30.
I think it's 6:30, yeah, but
Okay.
That's correct.
be here at 6. Yeah,
They can help set up.
absolutely. That's all I have. So next on the agenda is public comment. As a member, we welcome comments, suggestions, and questions rather than dialogue during the public comment period, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anybody wishes to address council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Come on up.
Good evening, Council. Sharon Taylor.
Good evening.
I was here back in 2011 and 12. I can sell you my notes. So, thank you to the Shade Tree Commission for working on the trees. I know that it's important to a lot of people, and some people it's not important to, but thank you for, taking the time to follow up on it. A question that would kind of bridge on that is for Mr. Brewer. I believe back in the summertime, somebody was mentioning that there was a memorial tree program, and that it kind of got lost in, over time. I guess it wasn't done anymore, or some trees were cut down. So I was wondering if there's any leftover trees, if that would make up for that tree program, or if that was a different type of tree that was planted. And then another follow-up was during the beginning of the summer, I think there was discussion about a grant for a rail, sidewalk rail that was across from the high school. Right across from the high school, there was a grant that you were kind of offering to say that there could be some repair to the sidewalk and a guardrail for, I think it's West End. West End. So I just wanted to know if there was a follow-up with that, or if that was canceled. And then just the last thing to Frank Spazzieri, when I first started coming to the council meetings, that was like 2008, I believe. Frank and a group of people, it was a very committed environment, and they focused on taxes. They had a lot of good laughs, but some of these meetings lasted for hours, and I learned so much from Frank and that group of people. So, my condolences to his family, and he did a lot for this community. He was always at the meetings working the cameras, so we're going to miss him, but, I'm sending my condolences. So that's all I have, and I guess I'll see you in October.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none. Next on the agenda is minutes for approval.
I don't think we have any.
Oh, yes, you may respond. Do you have? Sorry about that.
I have some answers for Ms. Taylor. With respect to the grant for the planting of trees, it's specific trees that have to be done in a specific way, so there's not a situation where there's some that are left over that can be used. That said, the memorial tree planting program still exists. There's information on it on the township's website under the Shade Tree Commission. With respect to the grant, I think you were asking about was the DOT grant, and there were 3 phases identified where there was a lot of discussion over the narrowing the throats of intersections, and phase 3 of the grant included the potential for guide rail. So the decision was to proceed with phase 1, and phases 2 and 3 would be discussed in succeeding years. There is no final decision on that.
Nice catch. All right, next on the agenda is minutes for approval, August 13, 2024. Are there any comments on these minutes?
No, that's good.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Well, there you go.
Mr. Tracy, you abstained, right?
Yes,
He abstains.
I'll do that.
Next on the agenda is a closed session discussion. Action may be taken after the closed session. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2024-182, authorizing the town council to meet in executive session to discuss litigation of tax appeals and contract negotiations for property acquisition?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for closed session. Thank you, everybody.